Video. That could be fun. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in to the BAMF podcast. I am your host, Mike Lafferty, and here's our contractually mandated intro music. I apologize for that. My parole officer has a kid who does some music, so it's anyway. The musical extravaganza is to show you, ladies and gentlemen, that this is a high quality, high production values podcast. Only the very finest farm to table, ethically sourced, geeky conversation for your podcast listening pleasure.
And what the hell am I doing here?
You're our foreign exchange student.
Oh.
Yes, from the Great White North is Bear, the who likes to go by the Gen X GM.
That's one of my channels, but because you've made me your Fez, I say good day. And we'll leave it at that.
All right, and directly to this side of me, the Brady Bunch grid, wearing a stylish Miami Dolphins hat is Mr. Christopher McLaughlin of Ghost Show Press. How are you doing, Chris?
That's Professor McLaughlin. I did not go to evil political science school for 2 years to be called Mr. Thank you very much. But I kid. I've had 8 solid days of work seminars, and honestly, the fact that we're able to do this without having to do an icebreaker activity and tell the other people at the table what my favorite food is. This is the best thing that's happened to me in a gathering this large all week easily.
No, but I want you to tell me 2 truths and 1 lie, and then we're going to try and guess which one's the lie because we don't know each other. Fuck off.
If you just tell them 3 lies, they stop calling on you.
Well, you know those texts you get from the, hey, I'm Bob or I'm Susie and I'm recruiting for this company and we're paying this and that and the other thing. I've discovered the secret to get them to shut up. I just text back, show me your tits. I never hear from them again. It's amazing.
Ouch.
Yeah, I do bring a machete to the meetings. Lot less HR involvement if you keep it nonverbal.
There you go. The fall of Western civilization, HR. Anywho, hi, Mike.
Hey, we have Timothy Joe Kirk on my other side. How you doing, Timothy?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
All right. I forgot the name of your company. Could you give yourself a quick introduction for our listeners?
It's Silver Lion Studios. We produce currently 2 tabletop role-playing games, one of which is in editing for the 2nd edition. I don't know how long that will take, but it is currently being done, and that's my superhero game, Hearts and Souls.
Oh, sweet. Well, hey, good to have you on again, sir. And last but not least, the most handsome man in Norman, Oklahoma, Jacob Blackman. Jacob, how are you doing today?
I'm all right.
Don't look so shocked, Bear.
Just damning with faint praise, buddy. Come on.
Jacob is a active fellow in the RPG industry. He just finished some work for Rogue Genius Games, but his work has appeared in a cornucopia of other publishers' products, including my own. And where all you been, Jacob?
Oh, God, I've worked for so many different companies. Wright Publishing, Rogue Genius Games, Fango Games. I'm doing some work for Bear right now.
The best company.
Christina Styles Presents and Misfit Studios. Yeah, I've worked for a lot of people all up and down the third party tabletop industry. So yeah.
In keeping with our theme, whenever Mike asks you that, you should name like 2 real companies and a fake one. Just to see if anybody can spot the fake before the show is over.
And you can't use Adamant as the fake one.
No comment. Fantastic Four, First Steps. It's a movie that seems like it's a sequel, but it's not a sequel.
No, it's a good. I like that.
Yeah. Chris, I'm going to go around the room. Everybody tell me what you thought. Chris, you go first. Fantastic Four.
You hit upon one of my main points because I had just seen Superman 2 weeks before, and in a lot of ways, I kind of felt like I was seeing the same movie because they're films that succeed on vibe more than anything else. The Superman movie hit the exact tone that it needed to hit, and the Fantastic Four movie hit the exact same tone that it needed to hit. But that's where the FF movie kind of falls apart for me after that, because whereas there's enough public awareness of Superman, I wasn't too angry that I didn't see this other movie that apparently happened before the movie that I got to see in the theater. All First Steps, more than anything else, made me want to see the movies before this. By the time we've hit like their 8th hour of standing around the Baxter Building talking about stuff, I want to see the movie where they fought the Mole Man. I want to see I want to see the Red Ghost sequence that got cut. And you know, it's probably not a good sign when your movie just makes you want to see another movie. So
that's called The Incredibles.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, what could they have done with this film after the Venture Brothers and the Incredibles? But it just failed on such a fundamental level of movie making. This film cost more money than 1,000 public school teachers will make in their lives, and it's mostly people standing around talking on CGI sets. And that was just utterly... I haven't been so baffled since I went to see a movie about Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, which had precious little Kung Fu in it. Now, credit where it's due. When this finally turns into a superhero movie in like the last 20 minutes out of the 8 hours that this thing drug on, it's perfect. It's beautiful. But again, that's the movie I wanted to see. I needed about one more action sequence for this thing to be acceptable, and it just didn't hit. And after a while, I mean, since it gives you so much time to sit there and absorb the vibe, I kind of realized how much it didn't work for me, because it's like you sit there and you start thinking like, wait, does the Fantastic Four like rule Earth now? This has gotten, now all of a sudden this is creepy all of a sudden. I mean, and you notice like the footage is supposed to be from the 60s, but it's edited like it is today. There's like these rapid takes, and I just really wish they had just said this was the 60s of the Marvel Earth rather than this parallel Earth crap that apparently Kevin Feige has decided he needs to die on. But yeah, if they had worked a little bit harder about making it the 60s and given me just one more fight scene, if they had left that Red Ghost scene in there, this would have been the best Marvel movie I've seen since the last Spider-Man movie. But just not enough superhero in my superhero movie. Way too talky, and I just, you know, a major miss. I'm not surprised that I'm not surprised this thing doesn't really seem to have much box office legs, because I want to see the movies that they made before this, rather than much more so than what I got.
That might be the harshest review I think of you giving a Marvel film that wasn't the Eternals.
It's because you didn't let me on the Marvel show.
Yeah, that's fair. Got a production still I'm showing off here. Wow, the thing has big hands, huh? You know what that means, guys. Big club. Tim, what do you think?
Who made him a foodie in this movie?
I'm gonna disagree with the professor here a little bit. I think the tone of the movie was intentionally set so that you would get the sense that they're a family. And that's kind of a necessary building point of the Fantastic Four, even though I do think The Incredibles did it better in many ways, in much faster scenes. So he's right when he talks about how they spend a lot of time talking. But it felt a little more warm because of that. I too would have liked to have seen the extra scene as well, if not more scenes of them being actiony cut between their talking moments. It was for me. It's a B movie. I generally rate from A to F. An F is a movie that's a waste of my time. I want my money back. A D is it at least entertained enough that I didn't give it an F. But if I never see it again, my life will be the same. A C is usually a movie that, like, okay, I might watch it again in certain circumstances. And a B is, I would enjoy watching this again. Well, an A is something that I will, like, if it's on, I will be watching it. It doesn't matter where it's on at. If it's streaming, if it's something else, I will spend time to go look for it and watch it.
So, Tim, let's say you're on a plane.
Yep.
And you choose between this movie and Superman 3.
The original Superman 3?
Yeah, with Christopher Reeves and yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm watching Fantastic Four, that's for sure.
All right, just trying to set the level here.
Yeah, because that movie is not worth. No, that's an F. That's definitely an F. Well, the first ones, even though I was not a fan of their Lex Luthor, um, casting a comedian in that role, unless they've got really good acting chops, just didn't work for me. But I really enjoyed them, and I have seen them multiple times. The first two.
All right, fair enough. Bear, I sense we were holding back a large well of opinion.
Okay, so I rate movies in one of three ways. Yeah, nah. Simple as that. I don't get into, because nothing annoys me more than like, it's only got 3 stars. Well, that's halfway. That's as expected. So therefore the movie succeeded. But no. If it's not 4 stars or 5 stars, it's shit in our modern society. And I hate that about us. We're absolutely tiresome in our pursuit of perfection.
We're all
also, yeah, well, maybe. I also worked long enough and hard enough in the film industry for a large portion of my life to know review the movie you saw, not the movie you wish you saw. So of the movie I saw, I gave it a yeah. Why did I give it a yeah? Because, well, you guys said they talk too much. Have you read a fucking Fantastic Four comic? That's why I don't read Fantastic Four comics, because they fucking talk too much. I want to see, them fight in the comics, but they don't. So I never was a big Fantastic Four fan. I appreciate them, but I was way more into the Marvel 2-in-1 with the Thing, or was it Team Up, whichever one it was. That was the one I was into, because at least I got to see Ben Grimm being Ben Grimm. Overall, I enjoyed this film. I thought it was a film that had hope, which was surprising, and I'm so happy. Superman had the same thing. Oh, thank Christ. It was entertaining. It wasn't preachy. It wasn't Marvel's latest round of this is why you all suck and need to follow our political agendas and views on society. So I thought that was fantastic that they didn't do that. I was very, very pleased with that. Pedro Pascal, I mean, look, Fetch isn't happening. And at some point, people in Hollywood are going to figure out that Fetch isn't happening. But until that time, we're going to see more Pedro Pascal in charge of everything. I thought the casting of Sue Storm was awful visually, but she was a really good actress. I thought she really carried the role well. She's not as good as the lady who played Lois Lane in Superman. I wish I'd been here for that review, because she is the best Lois Lane I've ever seen in my life, because she's able to do the one thing no one else is able to do, which is be a strong character without coming off like a bitch, which was really, really impressive. But Sue Storm's acting was good. The problem is Sue Storm suffers from the same problem Jean Grey suffers from. These are the 2 most beautiful women in the Marvel universe. Everyone lusts after them. Namor, Doom, everybody. So it's like casting Helen of Troy. To get a woman that good looking who can also act, good luck. So they did the best they could, and I appreciate that. I didn't care for Ben Grimm's voice, but I liked this little subplot with Natasha Lyonne. Would have been nice to see more of it, but they didn't do a lot with it, but it's okay. It was there. It was cute. I thought Johnny Storm was the standout of the entire film. He was given not only the goofy Johnny Storm hotshot stuff, but he was also allowed to be smart and contribute. And that's the big thing for me, was that everybody contributed to the plot and the solution and the big winning end. I was shocked that they didn't set up their arrival in the Marvel universe like we saw at the end of Thunderbolts. At the end of this film, I was really shocked by that. I'm like, well, when are they going to do that? There's what? Like, that's so weird. But I think we're in the position where people have become so tired of superhero films, and they become the mainstream. They've become so tired of Marvel films in particular. I like Thunderbolts. I didn't hate it. If I enjoy a movie while I'm watching it, that's all I ask for, is just the enjoyment of the time spent. I enjoyed Fantastic Four, but neither one of these films resonated with people, because people still want Endgame. They still want all that stuff that came before that they're not getting back. It's gone. It's done. Move on. So I'm looking forward to the new world where the superhero film becomes the Western of the 70s and 80s, where we might get some good ones, but we're not going to get a lot of them. And I'm okay with that. So overall, yeah, Fantastic Four was a yeah for me.
Then it is a reasonable and well thought out review, sir. Thank you very much.
You are welcome,
well,
sir.
I have to one exception to this. Human beings will never make a comic run as good as the Jack Kirby Fantastic Four. I've read them all. I'll read them again. Those motherfuckers move. Jack Kirby is the greatest action artist of all time. Everybody else can enjoy being second fiddle. The original Fantastic Four comics, they move. shit happens because it's fucking Jack fucking Kirby. That's what he does. He gives you action. Things happen. And for a film that so obviously and so rightly is in love with Kirby to the extent of putting him in the movie and ending with a quote from him, I wish they had read more of his actual comics, because Jack Kirby would not have spent 2/3 of the film standing around in the fucking kitchen talking. So if people enjoyed the film, I don't hate them. Like I said, it succeeds on vibe, and I don't begrudge that.
Okay.
But I no disrespect to Jack Kirby or his finest achievement.
Okay, fair enough. But at the same time, let's break down the simple thing of what we're talking about, which is mediums. The one person I have ever seen in the history of entertainment who understood the differences of mediums was Douglas Adams, which is why the Hitchhiker's Guide radio play, the Hitchhiker's Guide TV show, the Hitchhiker's Guide novels, and yes, the movie that he had a hand in crafting the script of before he passed, were all different and created for the medium they were in. So it's all well and good to talk about comic books written 60 years ago, 70 years ago, however many years ago, those was the 50s, 60s. So yeah, fuck, Jesus Christ, 60 years ago, as being this whole high watermark. But the problem is those are comics and they're not movies. Movies have to appeal to a different beast, and they have to do a different thing. They have to tell a different type of story. I disagree that Kirby had the best run. I think Kirby's run was fine. I think John Byrne had the best run because John Byrne was the first writer to come along who understood Doctor Doom properly.
I agree.
So there's my counter.
Still up, guys.
What? Sorry, what was that? What?
Another production still I got up here.
Would you just stop with your nonsense?
Well, I'm wrong. I'm frequently wrong, but they'll still be talking about Jack Kirby long after anybody has forgotten who John Byrne ever was.
I disagree highly.
And they're
highly.
reasons for that.
Highly. I think they'll talk about them in the same breath, along with guys like George Perez and Chris Claremont and all the greats. I am not part of the King cult. I think Jack Kirby did a great job. He brought a lot of things to comics, but we need to stop acting like he was the Kwisatz Haderach of comics. He was not. He was just a ground pace setter who blazed the path for others who came and stood on his shoulders and didn't spit at his feet.
Yeah, he's just the reason we have a medium to talk about. Other than that, the guy's a fucking trivia.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's been a lot. There's a lot of people who built that medium up other than Kirby. Kirby certainly revolutionized it, and his contribution is fucking brilliant. But to act like other guys like Schuster, Siegel, even Ditko, Romero, Lee, to act like these people did nothing is absolute nonsense, because we saw what Jack Kirby did. When Jack Kirby was in charge of writing his own stories, we got failure after failure after failure. Jack was an amazing artist and an amazing visual talent, but he needed someone who understood plot and humanity to make those stories sing.
I'm going to call it time out.
All right, stopping.
I'm going to ask Jacob what he thought about the movie, since he hasn't had a chance to talk yet.
Sorry, Jacob.
I agree with you on Kirby. But that being said, I love the aesthetics of this film. I really enjoyed the 60s Jetson-verse appearance of everything. I thought Galactus and Silver Surfer looked great. I thought the world that they presented, the fact that it was so different from the actual 1960s, is necessary, because when you have established superheroes, especially super scientists, the likes of which Reed is, your world is not going to be our world. There's going to be big changes, such as with the technology. And we saw that, and I liked that. I was entertained during the course of watching this movie, so I did like that. On the other hand, I saw no huge merits that this film brought to the overall Marvel genre. It's not something I would say you need to go watch this in the theaters. You can wait for streaming. The acting was meh. They did all right. The characters needed to be more like themselves. Reed, there were like 2 scenes where he stretches. 2. I counted them. In the comics, Reed is stretching all the fucking time. The opening scene where he's looking for some pills, some supplement pills, he should have been just stretching all the cupboards, looking through all the cupboards with his stretching powers, because that's how Reed works. That's how Reed uses his power.
We were stretching.
He was
Clothing
doing
version.
everything like a normal fucking person.
The
That's
thing
a
is,
fair
and
criticism.
I have some criticisms on that too. But the thing is I think they were trying really hard to keep it from looking silly, and that's a big problem they have with live action shows, is making certain effects not look silly. Because like Venom, I despise all the Venom movies because it looks atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
It absolutely looks like crap, and I can't. Nothing they do has made it look good in any of the movies. And it just, that's kind of thing. It's like, on one hand, yes, I would love to have seen more stretching. I would love to see him do the kinds of things he does in comics, like literally having hands out on both sides of the cabinet digging through things. But at the same time, I feel the designers, thought if they used it too much, it would make him more silly, which is not true, because if you look at the Incredibles, specifically the second Incredibles, which was not my favorite of those movies, you see Elastigirl do incredible things, but it is a cartoon. But she manages to make it not look silly.
Well, you also have to keep in mind that The Incredibles came first in cinema.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a problem, because now if they stray too close to that, you know what they're going to hear from the endless mouthpieces on the internet? You just stole everything from The Incredibles.
Never mind that they're technically from the same company now.
Doesn't fucking matter. You can push your glasses up and say, well, actually, as much as you like, Joe Average Cinema Guy would have shit all over them for taking shit from The Incredibles. That's just the way it would have been. They would have eaten a lot of shit for that. So they played it safe. And yeah, it was a mistake. I think I agree with Chris on this one. It was a mistake to play it safe. And they absolutely should have left John Malkovich's scene in, because I want to see John Malkovich as the Red Ghost. But we'll see that, I guess, on the Blu-ray. Fine. Whatever. Okay, I actually don't hate that movie, so stop your nonsense.
So can I ask a question?
Did you guys notice this entire cast in First Steps?
Yeah, they all did cameos, yeah.
Really?
Very nice touch.
I did not catch a couple of them. I caught the other two, but yeah.
Now, she's a good-looking Sue Storm, by the way. That lady they cast, good-looking. Like, not mannish at all. Like, you know, and that was... Who's the lady that played her in this movie? What's her name, the actress?
Vanessa
anyway, whatever.
Kirby.
Yeah. Not... Like, what the fuck is going on in Hollywood of what they think is attractive in women these days? Like, good Lord.
I found her fine.
Yeah, fine. She was fine. Sue Storm should be exceptional. That's my point.
Well, the King of Atlantis does want to get with her, so it implies a certain level, right?
Well, yeah.
It's the
And
Helen
again,
of
there
Troy,
are,
as I said.
a lot of characters from the past days that have very peculiar motives for doing their things.
Hey, Paladin. Well, anyway, listen, I think it was a good movie. I think people are being way too critical of it overall. But I think the fact that its box office dropped at, 86% in the second weekend shows you how tired people are of superheroes right now. And I don't blame them. This Superman was the first movie I saw in the theaters for superheroes since Wolverine and Deadpool.
I didn't even see that. The Fantastic Four and Superman are the first superhero movies I've seen in the theater since Endgame.
Wow. So you didn't have to sit through the experience of Eternals, the great 12-part Disney Plus series that somehow got turned into a really shitty film.
It gives me comfort. I look at some of the companies I work for and some of the horrible, incompetent management, and I think, well, Disney does this too, so it's everywhere. And yeah, Paladin, I agree. Sue is supposed to be an absolute smoke show.
Well, I think you get that 86. I mean, superhero fatigue is real. The days of Marvel banking on $1 billion out of the gate are done.
Yeah,
but I just think the fundamental problem was I just think this fails as a movie. I just think if this was a movie about guys arranging matches, there's still not enough going on for what it was sold to be. And I think that's its main problem. I mean, unless you're just a huge Fantastic Four mark, there's just not enough movie in this movie. And I think about the Riff Tracks Live of Birdemic, which is full of references to the birds, until finally Bill Korbick snaps and goes, "Rule number 1 of making a bad movie: don't refer to a much better movie that your audience should be watching."
And every time they put a poster of a better movie or something in the movie, yeah,
I felt that.
I think for me,
one more quick thing, if I may.
Right.
Mike, I just want to do this before we forget. I do have to talk about the most joyous moment of that movie: Sean Isaac getting thanked on screen. I stood up and cheered for that.
Our friend Sean Isaac, who was appeared in this very podcast multiple times, he is thanked on screen.
Yes. So God bless them for saluting a fine artist and an even better human being.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, Sean is somewhere in South Africa, drinking and drawing. So
no, he's done work for me as well. He's a great guy.
He really is. He's a hell of a guy. He once saved a baby from drowning.
Okay. Fuck, all right, listen, it's not a dick measuring contest there, Lafferty. Calm down.
He's got a fine singing voice too. If
we're talking about amazing people. This guy saved a baby's life. Well, fuck, I'll just go home, thanks. Jesus Christ.
He can do certain yoga moves that no other white person can. He's really limber. I'm just saying, he's got many talents. I'm sorry, Timothy.
Stop staring into the sun, you lobster boy. Jesus Christ.
Mr. Tim, you had a remark you wanted to make.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think, and this is probably a problem from their view, that Marvel was trying to make a different kind of superhero movie with this. They were trying to focus on something other than the action. And yeah, in that respect, I don't think they did a very good job if that is what they were trying to do. It was a good film for me, but if they're trying to draw people to more, I don't want to call it emotional because it's not really, but more slow, thoughtful kind of interaction films, then yeah, they should go back to the drawing board.
Jacob, you had your hand up, man. What do you want to say?
Well, I was wanting to continue some of my review stuff.
Oh, go right ahead, sir. Just you understand this is now a nerd free for all, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I really liked Galactus's motivation in this, because in the comics they introduced Galactus really early in the Fantastic Four storyline. He shows up in issue 16. They haven't even established Cosmic Baby that is Franklin by that point. So the fact that in this, Galactus sees Franklin as a potential for ending his existence.
May I interrupt for a quick second?
I think that was an interesting motivation for the character.
May I interrupt for a quick second? So once again, Kevin Feige's writers steal from Earth X again, specifically relating to Galactus. Because don't forget, in Earth X, Galactus is population control for Celestials. He eats planets that have Celestial eggs inside them. And what did we have in the Eternals? A Celestial egg in the middle of the Earth. And who became Galactus in Earth X? Franklin Richards. Like, Jesus Christ. Could they just fucking make an Earth X miniseries already? They clearly love it. All right. Sorry, Jacob. Wanted to get that off my chest.
The reason they shouldn't make an Earth X miniseries is the same reason they shouldn't make a Kingdom Come miniseries or movie. It was the stories that led to the creation of Kingdom Come and thus Earth X are relevant to those particular eras because of what was going on in comics at the time. They're not necessarily relevant to what is going on today.
I wasn't being serious.
Yeah.
Dear God, the last thing I want to see is them ruin Earth X by making a shitty Disney Plus series out of it.
But otherwise, yeah, I like what they did with Galactus. I think where they missed the mark with Fantastic Four is the Fantastic Four have always been a family first, science explorers second, and superheroes as a distant third. Whereas in this, they were pretty much superheroes first, and family second. And with what was going on with Johnny, because his motivation in this is he wanted to get back into space. He was listening to all the transmissions they were getting from space, and he's like, "When are we going back to space? I want to go back to space. Can we please go back to space? Because we're explorers. We should be broadening our knowledge, not fighting these superpowered idiots." In addition to that note, I wish there were a couple other superheroes established on this world besides the Fantastic Four. You know, they could have had fun with some of the other 60s heroes at the time that they are likely not to do, you know, movies or shows of.
Jacob, help me out. Who are you thinking of? Hellcat?
Yeah, Hellcat, you know, and so they could have had some of the lesser known Golden Age heroes show up.
Or Frozone. They could have had Frozone show up, and then their journey towards the Incredibles side would be complete.
Siltman.
There is a Golden Age ice wielder in Marvel. I forget his name right
Jack
now.
Frost.
Nick Frost. Yeah, Jack Frost.
Jack Frost.
But yeah, they could have had several other heroes to establish there.
They
And
could. Yeah, go ahead.
much like what happened with the Superman movie, I'm glad they didn't dwell on the origin, because the origin of the Fantastic Four is boring as fuck. Look, we're going up to space. Oh no, cosmic radiation! Crash! Look, we all have powers. That's not exciting.
It's the same as Spider-Man's origin. It's the same as Superman's origin. Like, we don't fucking care. We've all seen it a million times before. Just give me the good stuff.
Exactly. I'm glad they started with them established, and all that is done, so we don't have to rehash Ben being angry at being all Rocky again. He's not fully okay with it, but he has come to terms with his appearance.
You know, the one thing I actually liked about the Lewis Lederer version of the Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton is they give you the origin. They basically just rip off the opening of the Bill Bixby show. It's over in like a minute and a half.
I love that they used the credits to give him his origin.
And it tells you what you need to know. And if you remember the Bill Bixby show, it warms your heart right off the bat. I think that may have been the only good thing.
I didn't like that at all because of that. Because I didn't have nostalgia from that show.
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, I watched it, but I didn't have nostalgia from its origin.
See you in the morning.
I preferred the Ed Norton Hulk movie to all other Hulks I've seen since or before, but I preferred Jennifer Connelly as Betty, not fucking Liv Tyler. Jesus Christ.
I have to agree there. Jennifer Connelly has always had a place in my heart ever since I saw her in Labyrinth, one of my first childhood crushes.
Yeah,
Your girlfriend too. You know what they could have done? They could have had Hank Pym in this movie.
Yeah.
Because Michael Douglas's Hank Pym was technically active in around the same time frame.
But the age reduction would have cost a fortune.
They're doing this parallel Earth crap. They could have kept it on the main Marvel Earth and had young Michael Douglas on there, but you know, that might have been something happening, and apparently that was illegal for the first 2/3 of this.
It would be fun if they just said fuck it and did all the Marvel heroes we've seen modern continuity, but in the '60s. Yeah.
And while we're on it, I add one other thing that I think was a poor choice here, and it kind of feeds into the fact that, you know, I would like to have seen the 2 Shadow movies made before this one. If you're booking a wrestling card, you don't open with Hogan and Flair. You know, the Fantastic Four versus Galactus is your WrestleMania. That's your main event. That's what you build to. That's what you tease to. It's not the curtain jerker match. I think they would have been much better off making the Red Ghost movie and the Mole Man movie and teasing that Galactus is coming, because you're talking about a villain that could eat Thanos for lunch. This is not the guy that you blow off in one movie. I just think it was a mistake opening with your boss villain, and it just sort of underscored like, why are you starting the story here?
Well, given Kirby's love of pro wrestling, I'm sure he would have agreed with you. But
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, wrestling is a very different beast than a superhero movie. And I get the analogy. I get the analogy. I see the merit in it. But at the same time, you're dealing with Marvel, who are so fucking gun shy right now and so desperate for a fucking smash hit box office to return them back to the top. They're not pulling any punches. I'm so shocked that we're not seeing, overtime. What the fuck's this? Thanos is back. Hey, yeah, let's continue the story. Like, they're freaking out right now. Robert Downey Jr. is Doctor Doom? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to point out, though,
hang on. Was a Skarsgård not available? What the fuck? Anyway, go ahead.
As Jack Kirby would say, they're hot shot booking.
one thing I'd like to point out, though, is how many people know the Red Ghost? How many people know Mole Man? I mean, comic fans, yes. But people who aren't comic fans that are just general movie goers, they probably have heard of Galactus. But they've probably not heard of the other two.
Side note, by the way, I absolutely love that Mole Man was played by Stingray from Cobra Kai. That was just too fucking funny for me. I was like, hey, that's the guy from Cobra Kai. So good for him getting some big work.
Well, it's a fair point, Mr. Mendoza, but we already know this group's coming back. We've known for years this group is coming back for more stories. So
no. They're not going to crack $1 billion with this movie. Hell, they barely cracked.
But we know they're coming back for Doomsday and whatever.
Yeah, well, as we saw with the fucking Kang thing, thing. They will change their plans based on events and box office real fucking fast, right? Disney's really good at that. Star Wars does it. Marvel does it. So we don't know what the fuck's going to happen next. I am almost really happy these movies are failing because now we get to see what happens when Kevin Feige just goes, let's throw shit at a wall and hope something sticks. We're gonna get some Gonzo shit now. So I'm in for that.
Well, that's how we got Echo. I've already seen too much of that myself.
Well, no, that wasn't Gonzo shit. That was messaging shit. The Message. That's what that was. It's garbage. What are you gonna do? Also, I didn't care for the Daredevil that much either. The new Daredevil series was okay, but it wasn't great.
I like the Disney Plus shows, but I tend to watch them forward button handy. I mean, if I could edit like 8 episodes down to like 90 minutes, I would be a happy dude. But yeah. Anyway, I think we've covered this subject pretty well. Anybody have any closing thoughts before we wrap it up?
37 minutes? What are you talking about? We've barely scratched the surface, old man. There's fight in this crowd. Tim has barely said anything. Jacob's been nothing but polite. Come on, man.
You want to get Jacob angry? Jacob doesn't get angry.
I want to see Jacob passionate. That's all I want to see.
Jacob, can you help him out?
He's leaking. My passion, he's leaking.
You want me to talk about the unofficial guide to K-On! That I'm working on? I'm really passionate about that right now.
I was talking about the movie, but whatever.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, my passion, my favorite Fantastic Four story was honestly the Heroes Reborn story that Jim Lee did. I think that retold origin that kind of linked their cosmic powers being received from the Silver Surfer was really freaking cool idea. Not only that, but Doom's plan to attempt to achieve cosmic power by capturing Silver Surfer, only for that power to be inadvertently channeled into the creation of the Super Skrull, who was playing him the whole time. That was a really masterful story. I really enjoyed that storyline. And it was a great way of setting up a whole bunch of things that eventually led up to Galactus. The Galactus story in that was not well done because by then Jim Lee had left.
What was this, Ultimate Fantastic Four or something?
This was Heroes Reborn.
Which
is the stuff that happened after the Onslaught. When we got some really good writing in that era. That's the era that gave us the original Thunderbolts, which I will put up. The first 12 issues of the original Thunderbolts, I will put up as some of the best comic book writing to have ever occurred.
Yeah, that's abusive, though.
Busick
Kurt
is an
Busiek.
amazing writer.
He wasn't one of the he didn't go off to do Image like and come back to do Heroes Reborn like everybody else. He was writing the whole time, I think, for Marvel. And that's not the first time he's told a story like that because he also wrote the Liberty Project. Yeah, but no, I mean, you're right. There's some great writing in there. I was not a big fan of Jim Lee's writing in just about anything, but if you like it, that's a good thing.
Well, the writing of the comic itself may have some issues, but the generalized plot that was presented is what I'm talking about. Because honestly, if you go back and read old issues of comics, you start to remember, this is kind of crappy. Because read old issues of Spider-Man, for example. He's not a wisecracking smartass. He's a dick.
He's a bully.
He's a bully and an asshole.
Yeah, I agree on that one. You get no argument from me there. I don't get the Spider-Man love. But this is the Marvel problem.
That evolved into him being an interesting wisecracker later. Sure. But the original issues, oh no.
Yeah, this is the Marvel identity crisis. Marvel has always had this problem where they think they're one way, but they present something else. And one of the ones that drives me nuts, and Walt and I used to argue about this all the time, because Walt decided because I like DC Comics, I'm a DC guy. And he decided my writing is more DC than it is Marvel. And I used to laugh because my whole thing was this. Marvel tells me they're the world outside my window, which is unlike DC that makes up cities. Great. So it's the world outside my window. Jacob, how about you and I head down to the Latverian tea room tomorrow? Tim, you and I, we're going to take a trip to Madriapur, and we're going to get to do some awesome touristy things there. And then, Chris, I don't know about you, but there's a conference happening on just at the base of Mount Wundagore next year. We could go check that out. It's in a place called Transia. So this idea that Marvel is somehow better and more realistic or more whatever has always been a problem they have. And one of the things Marvel is really bad at is understanding two things. One, it's past. Like they just seem to forget it all the time. And two, how desperately they need a crisis. Marvel desperately needs a crisis at this point in time to just clean the fucking plates. That's why I loved Ultimate Comics when it first came out, because it was like, hey, we're starting fresh.
They had a crisis recently. They did a new Secret Wars, which is how Miles Morales and the Black Nick Fury got integrated into the modern Marvel universe.
Jacob, that was years ago.
I know that was a long time ago, but
my kid wasn't alive.
It's not recent. It's not recent, and it wasn't really a crisis because all the other shit still stuck around. What they need to do is what they did with Ultimate, which was basically restart the fucking universe and get it over with.
The thing is the reason they did that is they wanted to clean the clock with all of the alternate universes, and I don't think Marvel can at this point. They're not willing to ruin their potential story for, we could make a variant where we say, the what if or whatever kind of storyline. They're not willing to do that.
Yeah, I agree on that.
The first comic book I ever read, however, was a Fantastic Four comic. I don't know who was writing it at the time. It was, I always get the number wrong, but it was a story in which the futurist appears. This guy, he's a scientist. He knows Reed tells him, don't use this device. It's dangerous. And he's like, gets stabbed by gang members in New York because it's the 70s, apparently. They were very vicious. And he uses it to try and save his own life. And boom, he becomes this sort of like cosmic godlike being temporarily.
Doc Flamingo is here. Hey, Doc Flamingo. And Maverick Reasons says Fantastic Four Rise of Silver Surfer is a better movie.
Whoa! Shots fired! Shots fired!
We could call it the new universe. That's a deep cut for you young kids. You had to be
at
least 40.
The new universe didn't wipe out Marvel. That's the thing. When DC trimmed everything, they trimmed everything. There was just this one DC universe.
And by the way, back to the people who will not remember John Byrne. Everything Superman since 1986 has been based on John Byrne's Superman.
Yeah, the Man of Steel limited series.
Yeah.
They just made a movie
Everything.
about Crypto the Super Dog, which is one of the first things Byrne got rid of.
Well, that's because James Gunn made a thing about
that
Crypto the
whole
Super Dog.
movie just completely shits all
It
over
doesn't-
everything you just said. I'm
No,
sorry.
it doesn't. It
Wrong.
doesn't, because that whole movie is not the entire identity of Superman for all fucking time and space.
And Krypton's
That's
come
my
back in
point.
comics. So
And Crypto's come back in the comics long since in the comics.
But Burns
I was
first
surprised
was getting
Streaky-
rid of all the other Kryptonians.
Yes, I know.
DC was undermining him within minutes of him leaving.
I know, but there's still a shit ton of Superman material that was based on that. And a lot of what people think of Superman, look, there's two things people are going to think about when they think about Superman. They're either going to think the Byrne recreation of Superman, or they're going to think Silver Age Kurt Swan stuff, where he's shooting tiny fucking Superman out of his hands. Okay, like this is the reality we have to deal with.
Ultimately, it's not Superman that Byrne gave rebirth to. It was Lex Luthor.
That's fair.
Every incarnation of Lex Luthor has been the Byrne incarnation.
That's
where
fair.
he's a super corporate mogul.
yeah.
They have never returned to
I'm an evil scientist.
crime genius.
Yeah.
You know what's
Lex
funny
Luthor.
about that? What's funny about that is in every single like TV movie, you get the Byrne version. The comics, he's gone back to being the Silver Age dude with the mad scientist and everything. At least as much as he's the Byrne version. It's funny how that the Byrne thing lasted everywhere, but in the actual comics.
It's because the Byrne thing is more palpable by a general audience who can handle that level of superheroics or that level of villainy versus the idea of them having to fucking try and digest Silver Age shit on screen. That never works out. That never fucking works out.
Oh no! But
And for case in point, Batman and Robin, Joel Schumacher was very fucking Silver Age.
That's why it's a great movie.
No, shut up.
Maverick 77 Defender says F4 has a stronger concept to work with than the Marvels, but does not achieve the entertainment levels of the Marvels. It has fewer problems than the Marvels, but not nearly as enjoyable.
Maverick feels like he's trolling, and God bless him.
Yeah, I can see that. Can I just weigh in and say that the Fantastic Four had lost its way for decades in the comics? There was a time, I want to say at least 15, 20 years, where they weren't maintaining a monthly book. Now, they found their way. They got some good writers, but there was a while there in the Iron Age where they didn't know what to do with that comic anymore.
Oh, listen, the Iron Age will forever and always be the fucking bane of superheroes of all time.
I agree on you. Both hit that. Chris, you hit the Iron Age?
Marvel? No. That for you talking about the superhero thing?
Yeah.
That was John Lighthouser and Seth Johnson.
No, I meant the Iron Age of comics. I was thinking you and Bear had some common ground finally.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the '90s Marvel did nothing good for any of their characters. Ultimately,
yeah. Late Marvel, late '90s though. We got Thunderbolts. We got the Music Perez Avengers, which was amazing. We started getting to the nostalgia porn a little bit.
All right. Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right there. Yeah. But it's just, God, the bankruptcy era stuff just has a big negative shadow.
Never forget, there was a period of time where Roger Corman owned Marvel Comics. Never forget that.
And Topps, the trading card company, and
And I want to share Michael Mendoza's comment just because I want to read it out loud. Crisis on Infinite Costume Nipples cleared the way for Batman Begins.
Wow. Is there a voice you'd like me to read that in, Mike?
Yeah, that could be all right. Patrick Warburton?
I don't do Patrick Warburton.
Okay, well, why don't you pick one then, sir?
How would you like Sean Connery to read it then? Crisis on Infinite Costume Nipples cleared the way for Batman Begins.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, sir.
You daft cunt. Listen, I liked Fantastic Four. Chris didn't. Jacob seems to be okay with it, and Tim seems middle of the road. It was okay.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you said it was a B. It wasn't a great film. I liked it because it was nice.
There are a few A films. There are really, to understand my rating, there are very few A films. Incredibles is one of my A films.
I have never seen an A film superhero movie.
Not even the Christian Bale Batmans?
Oh, Jesus, I hated those movies.
What?
Okay, if you really need me to rant about why I fucking hate Batman again,
No, it's
do you need me to do this? You fucking red glowing sunburned giant hat wearing Kevin Feige cosplayer.
What do you want? Yeah, you live in a fog encrusted French speaking city, man. What?
Suck it, Trebek. Yeah, it's fucking 87 degrees in my room tonight, dude. It's not a fog encrusted fuck-all. It's a boiling hot humidity nightmare.
Well, have a baguette and chill out. You know,
Wow.
And is Tim Hortons coffee?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
oh, sorry.
Oh.
Forgive me. Oh,
Anyway, so Jacob, say something. You need to be involved. Talk.
I do not get involved with insult trading.
Don't slam on Canadians. We'll put on our skates and show you a thing or two.
so Bear, I think you would like a Batman movie if it was just Damian talking shit to Batman the entire time while they're having an adventure.
I actually love Damian Wayne. I think Damian Wayne was the one good thing they did with Batman for the longest time. But I actually love what they did with Damian Wayne in the Teen Titans animated movies, where they tried to humanize him by having him in the Teen Titans and also having him develop a relationship with Raven. I thought was really well done.
I have to agree with Bear there. I fucking hate Damian in the comics. But those series of animated movies like The Son of Batman and Batman versus Robin and that led up to the Teen Titans animated films, those presented Damian as a really interesting character. Who was less the I'm the true son of Batman. It doesn't matter how long you've been around. Fuck all you all. No, he is deeply afraid of being vulnerable at all because he's raised by freaking assassins.
Yeah.
He was raised by sociopaths.
So can I ask people?
He's under the impression that if he shows any weakness at all, he's going to be killed. So, and then he gets this chance to prove his worth by meeting his father for the first time, and he's trying to show his strength, but it's just coming off wrong. Bruce wants to see his humanity, and that's why I think was an interesting character.
Tim, you had a question?
No, I want to redirect away from Batman because we all have Batman opinions. But what did y'all think of the use of CGI in the movie? Because I had a friend that I saw it with, and he thought the thing looked fake. He said he didn't like it at all. He wished they'd done more practical effect with it.
I was just struck by the irony of having people stand around and talk on infinitely expensive CGI sets. It's like we have to spend this amount of money on a movie where people stand around and talk. That just
are they CGI sets? I thought one of them. I thought some of them were physical. I thought some of them were actually physical. I know the car was a physical effect.
Oh, I'm stealing that. I'm straight stealing that.
That's the thing. It's like
that will be in my yard by the weekend.
The Fantastic Car. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if I was working on that movie and the Fantastic Car was a practical effect, after the day was done shooting, that Fantastic Car would be gone. It would be somewhere in a lot that I owned under a different name, under a shell company.
It's built upon a frame to move it.
Sort of a geeky Ocean's 11, where you guys infiltrate the back lot and make off with that.
I'm good. I'll sit that one out.
Okay.
I got to give this movie credit for the best Easter egg I've seen in a long time. It's a seriously deep cut, but there's a scene where they have a quick like you see Professor Chris McGaughan under me. They have a quick identifier on a TV screen. And they reveal that the space agency on that planet is ANSA.
Instead of NASA, yeah.
which just tickled me to my soul, because for those people who have lived rich, fulfilling lives and not memorized weird details in old movies, that was the agency that sent Charlton Heston and James Franciscus to the Planet of the Apes. And
Yeah.
that was that made me smile.
Yeah, I saw that. What is it? The American National Space Association or something?
I don't think they ever actually spell it out amidst all the damn dirty ape business, but it's just that's the markers on the ship and the equipment, and I appreciated the touch now that Disney owns that too.
I saw that and I was delighted. It was one of those things I was like, wait, not NASA? And then went on and I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, if you're really going to try to take people back to the 60s, drop in like an incredibly subtle Planet of the Apes reference.
Yeah.
What I liked about the sets though and the design was, you guys remember that episode of the Flash TV show where we first saw Earth 2?
I do, yeah.
On the CW Flash show. And it was that weird sort of psycho 50s modern age, but still had all that weird 50s, 60s feel to stuff. And, there was, fucking space needles and L trains. It was all very, very, very cool, retro looking stuff. And when I saw it in here, I was like, hi, that's nice. It's nice to see that.
I really did like the idea that Reed had an impact on the city and apparently the world. But it would have been nice to see some other supers in the background, like especially when they're talking about the wizard. Who else was that? The wizard.
The puppeteer.
The puppeteer.
I mean, it's just like.
Diablo.
That said, I want my next superhero fucking movie to not have the public turn on the heroes halfway through the film and then them have to redeem themselves. I'm getting sick of that fucking trope.
Yeah, I was enjoying the beginning of the movie when everyone was like, "Yay, Fantastic Four," because that's how it's supposed to be. That the Fantastic Four are the celebrity heroes of Marvel.
Yeah. I was like, is that why they said it in the 60s? Because not just for the vibe, but because they wanted to show a time when people wouldn't be. And then they did it anyway, which is like, oh yeah, give up the baby for the rest of us.
Yeah, the only people who will be saying give up the baby for the rest of us don't have children.
1960s though, I could see more people being okay protecting the baby, and so I thought that's when they said it. But then they showed that the humans were just going to be just as cynical as we are now, which is true because we were always that cynical. But it would have been kind of a nice thing.
Michael Mendoza says, did you get the sense that the parallel Earth was far more integrated than what we knew? No.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that was the point.
100%.
It was an idealized 60s without the racism. It was really, really nice to see.
I was particularly amused that the pregnancy test was electronic. When she came out with that, I was like, wait.
Just to let you know, it's likely 100% accurate because it's Reed Tech.
Yeah, it's Reed Tech.
Hey guys, I've been looking for Jack Kirby pages I could share, and I didn't know about this. This is back in the Jim Steranko, Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. days, but Captain America had an invisible car back in the 60s. Chris, you remember this? You're a Bronze Age guy.
This is where I would defer to Hal Mangold. He's always been the Nick Fury guy.
Does it have gull-wing doors?
Yep.
Yes,
there you go.
Well, I don't know. I can't see it.
You have to have expensive, impressive details on a car no one can see.
Absolutely.
Oh, did he steal it from Wonder Woman? Was that why she didn't have a car to get around?
That's still one of my favorite lines when she steals the invisible jet in the Crisis on Two Earths DC animated movie, and the Flash is like, "You fly," and she's like, "And you drive a car," and I was like, "Oh, well played, well played."
I always assumed it was just faster than her flying.
So
it has to be. It's a Quinjet. Those things can go interstellar.
So DC's making good live-action movies again. Are we going to start seeing Marvel making good animated movies again? Are they going to switch places for a few years?
No.
I wish they could make decent animated movies.
I wish they could make good animated series. X-Men '97. I despised the 90s cartoon X-Men. I thought it had janky animation, and I didn't give a shit for it. I couldn't care less. I watched X-Men 97. I'm like, fuck, this was good. And then I found out they fired the showrunner. I'm like, oh, well, there we go. That's the end of that being good. Fuck, you know.
I have friends who grew up on that show.
I love that show. I hate it.
They loved it because they grew up on it. They were kids when that was airing.
Yeah, good for them, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a bummer about the showrunner. My kid really liked season 1 of X-Men 97, and ended on a cliffhanger. So, I mean, it's an X-Men cliffhanger where everyone's dead, and then someone shows up and they're like, it's the X-Men. Everyone always dies. We can bring them back. But,
Yeah, a buddy of mine did a parody cover of an X-Men comic one time that he had at the bottom.
No, it wasn't the Australian Wolverine one. That was the pilot for the one from the 80s.
That's Pride of the X-Men. It's actually the best animation you'll ever see in an X-Men cartoon ever, but they never aired the shit. The animation's phenomenal in that cartoon. Anyway, so my buddy did a mock-up cover of an X-Men issue, and it just had and it had that little box at the bottom that said, "In this issue, an X-Man dies," and then he put a little thing underneath. Again, it's just like, because that's all they were doing at one point in time was just killing people to make it. That was bring you back next month, right? Oh well, and the Australian X-Men actually was because of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, because when they meet the X-Men in that, Wolverine's Australian. So when they were doing Pride of the X-Men, that was the only reference point the animators had to fucking Wolverine to go on. So they somehow thought, oh, I guess he has an Australian. They didn't read the comics. Why would they do that? That would be productive.
Yeah, I know. I always hate when companies, like, we're going to buy this license and then completely rewrite it or change the important detail.
So how I feel about all Star Trek since 2009. Yes, I feel you. Yes.
I think you're sleeping on Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks, but
I liked Lower Decks. Towards the end, I thought it got a lot better. The first 2 seasons of Strange New Worlds had a couple of episodes that were good. This season can go fuck itself sideways.
Shows different tastes.
That guy, okay, first of all, yes, but also completely turning the fucking Gorns into xenomorphs. What the fuck? Killing off the best character they've ever introduced, which was Hemmer. He was amazing. Killing him off so we could have girl power was fucking tiresome. What does the captain do other than cook on that show? Like, is that his whole thing? He just cooks? He's the chef?
Understand, it takes a lot of time to work.
He has to maneuver the swoop of his hair.
The hair department on Strange New World refers to it as Pike's Peak, which I think is adorable.
Oh,
that's a good joke. That's a good place to stop this episode. We've been talking for about an hour. I got a kid who wants a story before bedtime, so
all right,
we're gonna wrap it up. So, Chris, last words.
Congratulations to Sean Isaac, who deserves so much success, and even though it was just his name at the end of the movie for however long it took to scroll, that was by far the most joyous moment I had in the theater, and and I hope that that will be the start of bigger things for him, because he's a great guy and a great talent, and he deserves to have even more success than he's had.
Every time I talk to Sean, it's like the middle of the night, and he is bent over his sketchboard just drawing the new Green Arrow pages or something. That dude's he's a machine. He just works all the time. Like, I've never been talking to him where he wasn't working. I don't know if he ever stops. So, Tim,
considering how many comics he's usually doing, no, I don't think he ever does.
Any closing thoughts, Tim? Where are you done?
I think that people should watch the film even if they wait for it to stream and make their own decisions, because we all have different tastes, and I mean the things I love in a movie may not be the things they love.
All right.
So,
Jacob, last thoughts?
I like a lot of what Shine Isaac has done with Fantastic Four. If you want a really good, quick read, go read Fantastic Four Life Story. It's a retelling of the Fantastic Four over the course of multiple decades. They did it first with Spider-Man Life Story, and Shine Isaac does the art for that, and it's really cool.
I actually got that one for my kid. That is a good one. And Bear, you get the last word of the episode, sir.
I'll be serious and say check out Heroic when it comes out, because it's going to have awesome art from Jacob in it, and you guys are going to be blown away by how good it's going to look. I actually had a meeting with the layout guy today, and we sat down and figured out some of the final bits on layout, and man, it's going to pop when it comes out. People are going to be loving it.
When are we going to see this book?
When it's ready, sir.
Believe me, I understand that one. I do.
Yeah.
As slowly as I have to do the art for it, maybe
Yeah.
a bit.
It'll be a year. It'll be a year before it's out. Another year easily.
All right.
And that's because we're stuck in layout and art right now, and it all comes down to moolah, and we have none left. So I'm paying everything out of my own paycheck. So it's taking time because I can't afford to pay for a lot in short notes. They give me, friends, Romans, countrymen, give me your money. There we are. Here's my final words.
All right. Hey, thanks everybody for coming out tonight. This was a fun discussion, a little lively, and
hey, before we leave, if we're allowed to talk about other things that we're working on,
Hot take.
Yes. Us hardworking folks over at Ghost Show Press are getting ready to kickstart the next book in our series. Everyone's gone to the movies, and if you would be so kind as to go to the URL that I'm about to drop into chat and sign up to be notified when we launch. If you're a fan of damn good writing, independent creators, and people being treated decently, we would appreciate you spreading this link. Or there we go. Spreading that link, or and signing up, and if you like the book, pledge when we launch. We'd certainly appreciate it.
and we'll make a €10 for that. But yeah, check it out. Ghost Show Press has done a series of really interesting anthologies of movie criticism. I think the Library of Congress just had Chris on a virtual discussion of science fiction films last month. So
yeah, it was great. Got to talk about the second book we did, the original subversive sci-fi, and this is the pretty blatant sequel, Subversive Sci-Fi Evolution, where we're coming back to talk about 33 more offbeat and unusual and rule-breaking science fiction movies. And we would like to keep making clever and witty and snarky and insightful comments for you people. But we live and die by your support and your pledges. So every register and like and share that keeps us alive. We appreciate it.
yeah, that's going to be October
1st we go live.
Okay, all right. And I will be helping.
And I stop sleeping.
All right, folks. Thanks for checking us out tonight. Thanks to everybody for coming, and we'll catch you next time on the BAMF podcast.